Hey everybody, so a few days ago we got our newest MultiVersus character released, and that character is Gizmo from Gremlins. So with a new character being released and new patch updates and stuff like that, we have more rumors of new leaks and data mines to talk about. As always, here's my disclaimer. This video is only discussing rumored data mines and leaks that are already being talked about out there on the internet. These are just rumors, not 100% factual information. Nothing is certain, and I show no proof of anything in these videos. But just in case these things do happen to come true, spoiler warning now. Okay, so before I talk about data mines and leaks, let's talk about Gizmo. So Gizmo had a short 2-day delay from when he was initially supposed to be released. And before we got Gizmo, they showed off his character card. And this was the first time we got a look at his official render. And we learned he is a support character. Though I've also seen him being labeled as a support/ranged character. Considering Tony was uncertain what class Morty should fall under, and even asked people on Twitter what they thought Morty should be classified as, I think the classifications for characters are generally a little loose in MultiVersus. We got a short clip of some footage of Gizmo in-game before he was released on TikTok. So good idea to follow MultiVersus on TikTok, as in the future that might be the first place we get gameplay footage of some future characters. The night before we got Gizmo, Tony said there'd be a new character on the main menu, and it would be Gizmo. And that's true, we no longer have Wonder Woman on the main menu of the game. She's been replaced by Gizmo. I assume this might be the norm from here on out, where the latest, most recent released character is featured on the main menu screen. Gizmo has also been added to the MultiVersus website roster. Hilariously, we still don't even have images of Black Adam and Stripe on here, despite the fact that we've already seen them in the login screen, and we see that every time we boot up the game. Here's Gizmo's profile on the website. I wish these profiles would be put into the game itself, honestly, as they're pretty cool to read. Gizmo apparently followed after Stripe into the multiverse to try and stop him. And I always really dig cool little storyline lore and stuff like that. Immediately before we got Gizmo, literally during the game's maintenance downtime while they were patching him into the game, we got a Twitch stream showcasing the new character's moveset. And the MultiVersus YouTube channel put up a short video of Gizmo. Someone asked if these would be a regular thing, and Player First Games said, "We hope to be able to do these for every character in the future, as well as existing characters. We are happy players really enjoyed this." Someone else asked them if they do future showcases the day before, instead of just minutes before the character releases, and Player First Games responded, "We will definitely look into this for future videos. Thank you for your feedback." Personally, I actually enjoyed seeing Gizmo during the maintenance downtime, as it gave me something to watch and get excited about while the game was down for about an hour before Gizmo actually got patched into the game. So I kind of prefer them to actually do this during that downtime, only minutes before the character gets released, but I can understand why some people would want to see them the day before. Gizmo is being voiced by Daniel Ross, who also voices Shagworthy in MultiVersus. So sadly, he is not voiced by the original Gizmo voice actor, Howie Mandel. But Daniel Ross does a good job. I still like the Gizmo voice, he sounds fine. I'm just always going to prefer the original voice actors when it's possible to get them. Gizmo's win animation has him watching TV on top of his box, wearing 3D glasses and eating some popcorn. And no, that clock never actually reaches midnight, no matter how long you sit on the victory screen. And Gizmo's loss animation has him looking sad inside of his box. Gizmo has one alt costume skin right now, and it's his Rambo headband and belt skin. This alt has unique victory and loss animations, kind of like President Morty does. His victory animation is roasting, I think it's a melted marshmallow, on a pencil over a campfire, and his alt's loss animation is looking angry on top of a cardboard box. One of Gizmo's moves spawns the toy car he rides in, but Gizmo can jump out of it, and every character can ride in it instead. So there's some really hilarious possibilities with that, like Iron Giant riding in this tiny little toy car. Very cool. Also, Gizmo releasing updated the end screen for matches, like where they show you what gold and XP you've earned. It's a lot more streamlined now, and I really like it. Okay, so let's start talking about rumored to be data mined and leaked stuff. Rumor is Gizmo has an umbrella taunt and a wave taunt in his files. As for the other Gremlins character Stripe, who hasn't been released yet, supposedly Stripe does throw saw blades and has a bomb as part of his moveset. And besides using the gun and bite attack, Stripe also apparently has a dash in his moveset in some way too. Along with Gizmo being released, we finally got the big Hitbox and Hurtbox update patch. And just look at that difference. Now characters characters' hurt boxes actually reflect them. They're modeled onto the fighter, instead of being this pill-shaped approximation of where the fighter is. The game feels noticeably better with your attacks hitting their targets now. There's a lot of other stuff the patch notes updates show, with buffs and nerfs to different characters. You can check all that out on the MultiVersus website for yourself if you want the specifics, but I will note that they added character icons and perk pictures to the patch note page on that website. It's much more organized and professional looking, and it's easier to read now. One very noticeable character update, though, is Velma no longer calls a police car to capture her opponents. Now she summons the mystery machine itself to take them away. This might have been updated because of the controversy surrounding the very act of calling the police. It obviously has some controversial connotations these days, but rumor is the mystery machine has had a model in the game for a while now. So maybe they always plan to eventually swap out the police car for the mystery machine, I don't know, but the mystery machine was modeled in the game's files for a long time already. I'm a bit torn on this change, to be honest. In the classic Scooby-Doo show, the sheriff or a police officer does show up at the end for the unmasking of the criminal. But a police car doesn't really feel particularly Scooby-Doo to me, whereas seeing the mystery machine definitely does. I guess I just hope this doesn't hurt Freddy's chances of becoming a playable character, as Fred would almost certainly use the mystery machine in his moveset in some way. He's the one who drives the car all the time. We don't see any characters modeled driving in the mystery machine when Velma summons it, so that's probably good news for Freddy's chances at least. I will add, if they did update this to avoid some kind of controversy, Gizmo makes a Michael Jackson tee-hee noise now, and the subtitles actually refer to it as such. It actually says Michael Jackson tee-hee. So they essentially may have just patched out one controversy, only to have just patched in and added back in another one. Another update is the Cromulon Rick and Morty stage now has a center platform. This was actually first noticed in Morty's showcase video, and now this platform is in fact part of the stage. Also, MultiVersus Twitter posted, "Pro tip, Morty, don't get him wet. #MultiVersus." With this image of Morty and Gizmo inside a Meeseeks box. This is very similar to this tweet with Finn and Jerry in his backpack. We had speculated this Finn and Jerry tweet may have been a Gizmo reference. It might have been a hint at the next character actually being Gizmo. So perhaps potentially this Morty and Gizmo image could be a hint as well at the next character? The only character I could see this hinting at would be Rick, since we have the Meeseeks box here, and the rumored data mines claim Rick uses Meeseeks in his moveset. We will have to wait and see who we get next, though, to find out if this is actually a hint. But Rick also allegedly has his mastery icon in the game's files right now, an icon that looks sort of like this image of Rick. And last time someone's mastery icon was found in the game's files, it was a Gizmo icon, and Gizmo was the next character we got. So maybe the next fighter really is Rick. Maybe he's the next one up. That'd be my guess right now anyway. As for other Rick and Morty stuff, supposedly 2 alt costumes for Morty have now been seen in the game's code. Evil Morty and Mech Suit Morty. Evil Morty isn't just Morty with an eye patch though, it actually looks like this hypothetical Evil Morty from the Story Train episode. And Mech Suit Morty does in fact look like this particular mech suit. Evil Morty has a unique attack animation where instead of the axe attack, Evil Morty uses this scepter trident thing he has instead. And Mech Suit Morty has unique looking grenades. Very cool to see some of these skins and variants have so much variety to what they can alter about the fighter. Also, apparently Rick's blaster is going to be an item. I sort of forget items are even in this game sometimes, to be honest, but I hope they add more items and a more casual, items-on, couch co-op style, free-for-all gameplay becomes a more viable way to play this game in the future. Tony confirmed on Twitter that BMO was getting more voice lines when you use BMO as Finn. I had talked in a past video about how rumor is BMO and Lady Rainicorn would be getting their own announcer packs, the first non-playable characters to get those. So seeing these BMO lines added gives me more hope those announcer packs are indeed likely coming very soon. Also in a past video we talked about a rumor that Pajama Finn would get an announcer pack. Turns out that was actually a placeholder for a Fern announcer pack. So we know Finn is getting a Fern alt costume, and we now know Fern will have his own voice lines and an announcer pack. Very awesome. Someone had actually asked Tony about this a while ago, when Fern was revealed to be a skin and not a variant. They were asking Tony why Fern didn't have their own specific voice lines, as Fern has a different voice than Finn. Tony said they'd investigate this, and it looks like we are in fact getting a different specific voice for Fern now. So awesome this game's devs listen to the fans like that and care about that level of attention to detail. I haven't checked to see if they updated Garnet's gems yet, but I wouldn't be surprised to find out that they did. Also, rumor is Finn has a Pixel Finn skin. Probably this boxy Minecraft-looking Finn from that particular episode, if I had to guess what Pixel Finn was. A while back, someone asked Tony if they would have special badges for players who won tournaments. I know some people were disappointed that the EVO banner and icons weren't exclusive to people who actually participated or won at EVO. Well, luckily, in the game's code now are some special badges for the top 64 players from EVO. First through 4th place have their own unique badges for EVO 2022, and then top 8, top 16, top 32, and top 64 also will be getting badges. Very cool, the top EVO players will get something special to show off that in the game. Also, supposedly data miners have discovered that there will be a Batman Day event coming up. From September 16th through the 19th, players will have a chance to earn a special Batman profile icon in the game. But I've heard conflicting things about the requirements to unlock it. Seems either you may have to win 20 matches at Batman, or just play 3 matches as Batman in that time frame to get the icon. Speaking of DC, there's a lot of new DC superhero stuff allegedly in the game's files now. They apparently added voice lines for a new Wonder Woman skin, but we don't know exactly what the skin is. It sounds close to Black Lantern Superman in personality, so potentially it's Black Lantern Wonder Woman. It seems voice lines for both a Bruce Wayne and a Clark Kent skin are in the game's code now too as well. Along with the previously rumored to have been found Dr. Harleen Quinzel skin, I assume these may all release at the same time. Perhaps as a out-of-costume, alter ego themed thing they could do, having them all at once for these 3 characters. But that's just a guess. Could be a neat reverse Halloween costume thing to do for them though. Beetlejuice apparently has at least 2 skins in the game's code right now, but we don't know what they are of. Marvin the Martian has some effects in the game's files that look like music notes, and one that looks like an explosion. There's also apparently a sound effect called Glitch, which maybe could be for something to do with the Matrix, but it supposedly sounds like a man screaming, so no idea what that one's for. This newest build has rumors of data miners discovering stuff for different modes of the game. Apparently, in-game tournaments will be able to hold up to 64 players at a time, ranking them between 1st and 64th place. Ranked mode will have tiers, and there are rewards to be earned in ranked mode each tier. Data miners claim to have now found images of a prototype version of the game's shop, and a sound effect titled Shop Reroll. So maybe you'll be able to re-roll what's in the shop each day or something like that. And you might be able to purchase quests in the shop as well, and there's something titled Event Shops. Who knows for sure what those are about though. The shop's placeholder images suggest things in the shop will have a time limit counting down how long they'll be available. And there's a price to buy them for Gleamium and a more expensive crossed out price, probably their original price, and things in the shop will be cheaper than if you bought them outside of the shop. Again, things in the shop will likely be there for a limited time, so you have a limited time to get them a bit cheaper. And the shop also has an or gold amount as well. So things that cost Gleamium may be buyable for an amount of gold instead while they're in the shop, which is really great to hear. And rumor is the shop appears to have different menu screens, and you can scroll through them, and they have titles like Home, Fighters, New, Custom, Other, Emotes, Variants, and Ringouts. Also, data miners are claiming the Founders Pack will end on October 11th. So if you haven't bought one yet and think you might want to, that might be the countdown time to keep in mind to do that. Also, the Summer 2022 seasonal items will supposedly end on the 27th of September. I assume they'll be replaced with new autumn-themed items instead. We have been told those summer-specific items may return next summer or potentially eventually show up in the shop or something like that, though. So this might not be your last chance to get them. Alright, now let's talk about some interesting stuff that happened outside of the rumored data mine stuff for this game. Over on Twitter, Tony wrote, "A literal dream came true for me today. I can't wait to share with our players when the time comes. Really cool stuff in store. Hashtag MultiVersus." So obviously, whatever this dream coming true thing could be is ripe for speculation. Most seem to immediately assume it's for a character, potentially locking in some negotiations for some dream character or dream franchise to show up in MultiVersus. And that, of course, is totally possible. That could be what Tony is talking about here. Although the speculation for who the dream fighter or franchise could be is essentially endless. Tony has specifically said getting Kratos would be a dream, so that's the best guess I've seen, but it's really just based on using dream, the word dream, in both of the tweets. Honestly, if this is for a character, it could be anyone huge. Anything from Kratos to Walter White to Goku, anything is possible here. But of course, potentially, there's also the possibility this wasn't for a character specifically at all. This could be for something like getting the green light for a budget to do CGI trailers going forward, or possibly getting to work with a specific person as a voice actor for a future character. Our speculation is blind here. The possibilities are endless for what this dream thing Tony's talking about could be. So I leave it up to you guys to wildly guess at who or what this could be about. Another interesting tweet from Tony that is less vague is this one, where Tony wrote, "I guess we're making a Kancho attack. Interesting. #MultiVersus." I can't believe I'm going to have to explain this, but Kancho is Japanese slang for enema, and it's the name used for a childish Japanese prank where you hold both hands together, stick out your pointer fingers in the shape of like a gun, and attempt to poke someone on the anus. If you haven't heard of this, I swear I'm not joking, it's a real Japanese prank, and it shows up sometimes in animes and stuff. It's kind of like giving someone a wet willy. I'd say that's the closest Western equivalent I can think of. It's a schoolyard prank, but it's pretty invasive, so again, sort of like a wet willy. Though Kancho seems more like straight up sexual harassment to me, but in Japanese and other East Asian culture, it's not seen as such. It's more of a semi-innocent schoolyard joke. Anyway, Tony is saying they are apparently giving a Kancho attack to some future character. There really aren't too many characters I can think of that this could fit for. Faust in Guilty Gear apparently does this as an attack, but I don't know if they'd get a Guilty Gear character in MultiVersus, and if they did, I'd be really surprised if they chose Faust. Kakashi from Naruto uses Kancho as an attack, and he was honestly the first person I thought of. Naruto has also been known to use this attack sometimes, so it could be for him too. Tony has said he wanted to add anime characters to MultiVersus if he was able to do so, and those very early datamines supposedly had a ninja scroll with the Naruto seal symbol on it. Maybe they really have been planning a Naruto crossover this whole time. Though if I had to really guess who I think this might be for, it's possible it could be Beetlejuice that's using this attack. While he isn't Japanese, he is all about lewdness and pranks, so a lewd prank kind of fits him well. Giving Beetlejuice a lewd, almost sexual harassment prank as an attack might honestly fit his personality really well. Though now that I think about it, could you even make such a specific attack that always targets the opponent's rear end? It might just be someone with a finger gun poke attack, as I don't think you could create an attack that's aimed specifically at the opponent's behind every single time you use it. So who knows for sure who this Kancho attack is actually being made for, if it's really a Kancho attack or just kind of looks like one with a finger poke. But yeah, potentially we could actually be getting Naruto stuff in MultiVersus for real now, and maybe it is for Kakashi, who knows. Speaking of anime stuff though, apparently in the game's code, there's a string labeled over 900,000, which is obviously a reference to the Dragon Ball Z meme, over 9,000. Maybe they really did get Goku for this game. Or more likely, they just don't shy away from subtle anime meme references. Ultra Instinct Shaggy started off as a Dragon Ball Super meme after all. Alright, well I slightly updated the rumored to be datamined or leaked character lineup image here, to use the official render of Gizmo now. But my prediction calendar for the rest of Season 1 remains the same. I'm still guessing Rick will be our next fighter, but who knows for sure. Right now, Tony is asking people for skin ideas on Twitter to get another batch of them rolling out, as he put it. So if you have a cool skin or variant concept in mind right now is the time to let him know what you'd like to see. Alright, well that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. If you have any comments on any of the stuff we went over or mentioned, leave them below.
Remember to like the video, leave a comment in the section below, and subscribe to Papa Gino's
Twitter, Patreon, Discord, Twitch.